The summer of 2024 will be etched in China's memory as a season of unprecedented hardship. Relentless rains have unleashed a torrent of destruction across the nation. From bustling cities to tranquil countryside, the floods have left an indelible mark of sorrow and devastation. Millions have been displaced, homes reduced to rubble and livelihoods washed away. The scale of the disaster is staggering, a stark reminder of the raw power of nature. China, a nation accustomed to battling the elements, faces one of its most formidable challenges yet. As the floodwaters slowly recede, the true extent of the damage is becoming horrifyingly clear. The human cost is immeasurable, measured in lives lost, families torn apart, and communities left reeling. Yet, amidst the despair, there are glimmers of hope. Ordinary citizens, first responders, and volunteers have come together with extraordinary determination to help rebuild their nation and support their fellow countrymen. The deluge that has overwhelmed China is the result of a confluence of extreme weather events. An unusually active monsoon season brought torrential rainfall to many parts of the country. Rivers already swollen from previous downpours overflowed their banks, inundating vast swaths of land. The speed and ferocity of the rising waters took many by surprise, leaving little time for preparation or escape. Adding to the crisis, Typhoon Gaemi, after leaving a trail of destruction across the Philippines and Taiwan, slammed into China's eastern coast. The storm surge, coupled with the already heavy rainfall, exacerbated the flooding and extended its reach further inland. Coastal communities bore the brunt of Gaemi's fury, with homes and businesses flattened by the wind and waves. Meteorological data indicates that rainfall levels in some areas have shattered historical records. The sheer volume of water that has fallen in such a short period has overwhelmed even the most robust flood defenses. This raises urgent questions about the impact of climate change on the frequency and severity of such extreme weather events. Behind the staggering statistics lie countless stories of human tragedy and resilience. Families torn apart by the raging waters, their homes and livelihoods washed away in an instant. The elderly and the very young, the most vulnerable members of society, have been disproportionately affected. In Henan province, one of the hardest-hit areas, a farmer named Li recounts his harrowing escape as floodwaters engulfed his village. The water rose so fast, he says, his voice trembling with emotion. We barely had time to grab our children and flee. Everything we owned, everything we worked for, gone in the blink of an eye. Yet, amidst the heartbreak, stories of extraordinary courage and compassion shine through. Ordinary citizens transformed into heroes have risked their own lives to save others. Volunteers working tirelessly in grueling conditions have provided food, water, and shelter to those who have lost everything. The spirit of unity and resilience so characteristic of the Chinese people is evident in the face of adversity. The economic impact of the 2024 floods is staggering. Entire industries have been brought to their knees, vital infrastructure crippled, and agricultural production devastated. The agricultural sector, the backbone of China's economy and a vital source of livelihood for millions, has been particularly hard hit. Vast tracts of farmland have been inundated, crops destroyed, and livestock lost. The floods have wiped out entire harvests, threatening food security and driving up prices for essential commodities. Roads, bridges, and railways have been washed away or rendered impassable, cutting off access to affected areas and disrupting supply chains. Power grids have been damaged, leading to widespread blackouts and crippling industrial production. The cost of rebuilding this vital infrastructure is estimated to be astronomical, placing a huge strain on government resources. The floods have also dealt a severe blow to China's burgeoning tourism industry. Popular tourist destinations have been forced to close, hotels and resorts lie empty, and travel plans have been thrown into disarray. The floods have left an indelible mark on China's environment, with far-reaching consequences for ecosystems, biodiversity, and the delicate balance of nature. The sheer volume of water, carrying with it a toxic cocktail of pollutants, has contaminated rivers, lakes, and groundwater sources, posing a serious threat to human health and wildlife. The floods have triggered widespread soil erosion, stripping away fertile topsoil and leaving behind barren landscapes. This loss of topsoil will have long-term implications for agricultural productivity and food security. The destruction of forests and wetlands, vital natural buffers against flooding, has exacerbated the impact of the disaster and increased the risk of future flooding. The impact on wildlife has been particularly severe. Habitats have been destroyed, food sources disrupted, and countless animals killed or displaced. Endangered species already struggling for survival face an even greater threat of extinction. In the face of this unprecedented disaster, the Chinese government has mounted a massive rescue and relief effort, mobilizing all available resources to help those in need. The People's Liberation Army has been deployed to assist with evacuations, distribute aid, and reinforce flood defenses. Medical teams have been dispatched to affected areas to provide urgent care and prevent the outbreak of diseases. The government has allocated billions of yuan in emergency funding for disaster relief, providing food, water, shelter, and medical supplies to those who have lost everything. Efforts are underway to rebuild damaged infrastructure, restore power, and reopen transportation routes. The scale of the task is immense, but the determination to rebuild is unwavering. However, the government's response has not been without its critics. Some have accused the authorities of being slow to react and failing to adequately warn residents of the impending disaster. The government has pledged to investigate these allegations and to ensure that aid reaches those who need it most. The 2024 floods in China are a stark reminder of the growing threat of climate change and the urgent need for global action to address this defining challenge of our time. Scientists have long warned that climate change will lead to more frequent and intense extreme weather events, such as floods, droughts, heat waves, and storms. The events in China are a clear indication that these warnings are no longer theoretical, but are now a harsh reality. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and other human activities are releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, trapping heat and causing global temperatures to rise. This warming effect is disrupting weather patterns, intensifying the hydrological cycle, and increasing the likelihood of extreme precipitation events. The international community must come together to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, invest in renewable energy sources, and support vulnerable countries in adapting to the impacts of climate change. The scale of the disaster in China has prompted an outpouring of sympathy and support from the international community. Governments, organizations, and individuals from around the world have offered assistance, recognizing that the challenges posed by climate change require a global response. Financial aid, essential supplies, and technical expertise are flowing into China to support the relief and recovery efforts. International humanitarian organizations such as the Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders are working on the ground to provide medical care, distribute aid, and assist with the daunting task of rebuilding shattered lives. The floods in China underscore the interconnectedness of our world and the importance of international cooperation in responding to shared challenges. The 2024 floods in China offer valuable lessons for other countries facing the growing threat of climate change and extreme weather events. The disaster has highlighted the importance of investing in resilient infrastructure, strengthening early warning systems, and improving disaster preparedness measures. Building codes and urban planning must take into account the increased risk of flooding, ensuring that new construction is located in safe areas and designed to withstand extreme weather events. Investing in natural infrastructure such as wetlands and forests can help mitigate the impact of floods by absorbing excess water and reducing soil erosion. Public awareness campaigns are crucial to educate communities about the risks of flooding and to promote preparedness measures. Empowering communities with the knowledge and skills to respond effectively to disasters can save lives and reduce the impact of future events. By learning from this disaster and taking proactive steps to build resilience, we can create a safer and more sustainable future for all. As the floodwaters recede, the long and arduous task of rebuilding begins. The physical damage to homes, businesses, and infrastructure is extensive, but the emotional and psychological scars run even deeper. The road to recovery will be long and challenging, requiring patience, determination, and the unwavering support of the international community. The Chinese people have a long and proud history of resilience and determination. They have faced adversity before, and they will undoubtedly overcome this challenge as well. The spirit of unity, compassion, and selflessness that has been evident throughout this disaster will be crucial in the months and years to come. By working together, we can transform this tragedy into an opportunity to build back better, creating a more sustainable and equitable world for all. The 2024 floods in China stand as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our world and the shared challenges we face in an era of climate change. The devastating impacts of this disaster, the human suffering, the economic losses, and the environmental damage serve as a wake-up call for us all. The time for complacency is over. We can no longer ignore the urgent need for action to address climate change and build a more resilient and sustainable future. Let us rise to the challenge, embracing our shared responsibility to protect our planet and ensure a safe and prosperous future for all.